So what I was gonna go over today, guys, is something that you guys can all relate to. And it actually has to do with credit repair, but it's not, right? It's a consumer reporting function that credit reporting agencies use to determine your credit worthiness, right? That's not actually on your credit report, right? It's a different type of credit report. And you'd be quite surprised that, recently you've had a bunch of clients who would apply for business lines of credit or some credit cards, and they've got 780 credit scores, 800 credit scores, 750 credit scores, and they're getting denied for reasons such as too many inquiries or recent inquiries or um, checking accounts closed or opened. And when we were reading those denial letters, we were wondering, and we were like, well, what do they mean by checking account? And what do they mean by accounts opened? Right? But when you look at the client's reports, you look at their inquiries, they either got one inquiry or no inquiries. And a lot of our, future prospects for funding usually don't actually have inquiries because we either remove the ones that are null and void, or they're very limited because they're not applying for anything because they know they want to get some funding. So after doing a little bit of research, what we've been finding is there's a couple of bureaus that report your bank history. So all of your bank history. So from the date you ever owned or opened a bank account, your history has been recorded, right? And it records mainly most of the negative items. It does keep track of inquiries. So when you open up a bank account, it does normally state that you had an inquiry or you had opened up an account with XY Bank at this time, and it records all of that. But we don't know this stuff, right? So, and I have a feeling that it's obviously communicated to us via a lot of our bank agreements. So, I'm also a victim of this, right? How many of you guys actually read the paperwork involved in opening up your bank accounts? Because I don't.
I read mine's today. I didn't get a bank statement because my bank statement is automatically set up, but they had sent me a letter today stating that I owe a minimum of $64 towards my credit card balance, and um if it's not paid by December the 10th, that they was gonna close my account. But they sent the letter to me after the fact that they had already closed my account. So they
Yeah,
backdated the information and sent it back out. So
that makes sense, guys.
they wouldn't be at fault.
That makes sense. And that stuff, it all comes back down to power of attorney on the account. So that's all in the Escape the Matrix campus, right? We dove a little bit into that yesterday, and we're gonna have some more calls later this week to talk about how we can prevent these banks from closing our accounts, how we can take back our power and start opening up private banks.
I
Um,
love to hear that.
because all the banks that we are creating at this point are for the public, and we're basically doing interactions in commerce, right? Everything we're doing is in commerce, and we are placing all of our personal information, our private information in the public, and that's why they can close your accounts, notifying you, with the delayed notice, or they simply just tell you that they're going to close your account for inactivity, right? Like who are they to tell you that you have to use your account? Like, I don't have to use it. If I open it and I want to keep it just to keep it, I'll keep it. It's my bank account. But what you guys have to realize is when they're doing things like that, it's because we've given them authorization to do so, or we've opened up the wrong type of bank account, or we want private bank accounts. And in this particular case, what we're going to cover is ChexSystems and teletrack and early warning services, right? So these companies report all of your information regarding all banking history, right? It has nothing really to do with your credit report, right? That you pull on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, because that information isn't going to show up there. Where it's going to show up is on these particular reports. And today I'm going to show you guys how to pull your reports and check them and get access to them. And for example purposes, um, I'll try to give you an example of pulling up a report. I have some old check system reports um, to show you. I just don't want to be logging in because I'm recording this call. And I don't want to be logging in with my personal info. So I'm going to give you guys a step by step on how to pull all this information as much as possible today, so that you guys can use this video as reference. And two, you'll be able to actually pull these reports and check for yourselves. Because whether or not you guys have had any bad and negative history on your with prior banks or current banks, it's extremely important that you guys nip this stuff in the butt. Because I mean, think about it. I just finished explaining to you guys that I have clients who have really excellent credit scores, right? And they're getting denied for bogus things that aren't actually on their credit report, right? And one of them had to be inquiries when inquiries were non-existing on the report. And those are just red flags that really tell you how crazy their system is, right? They create secondary bureaus, primary bureaus, and all these bureaus work together to make it hard for you to get credit. Right? The matrix is deep. They create all these different companies to report specific types of information on consumers, right? Also that they can prevent you from getting access to credit. Because technically, ChexSystems is one of those things that you really don't know about until you go pull your credit or you go try to apply for something and they're telling you that they got this information for ChexSystems and now you have to go dispute it, right? It's outlandish. It's like it's absolutely outlandish. And this is why we use the methods that we use to dispute things, right? Because we're no longer going to be tied down to all their systems because of the information that we have and the information that I'm teaching you guys to get out of this, right? So we're currently in the process of disputing these three with a bunch of our clients. And this is something that, now they have to do in order to get these negative items off of their credit. Now, this isn't for everyone, right? I'm going to tell you who disputing ChexSystems and early warning services is for, right? It's for people who had a lot of bounce checks, non-sufficient fund fees, right? Not paid debts and fees owned at the bank or owed to the bank or credit union related to an account, been suspected of fraud related to the bank or credit union account, have had an account closed involuntarily by the bank or credit union, right? So involuntary closures and ChexSystems report for 5 years. Overdrafts remain on your record for 5 years. Even if you had paid back what you owe to the bank or the credit union, each bank or credit union has its own policies by the way of information in the bank history report impacts your ability to open an account. This also includes the amount of time passed since there were events that an involuntary closure or repeated overdrafts. Some banks and credit unions require you to pay these old charges and fees before you're allowed to open a savings account, checking account, or other cases you may offer the opportunity to open a second chance or checklist checking account that has different features and restrictions than a standard checking account. So it's just limiting your ability to open up a bank account freely because of this prior information. So depending on the account's rules, you may be allowed to open a standard checking account after 6 to 12 months, which is crazy, right? Now, it's a good thing there's a lot of banks out there, but I want you guys to keep in mind that some banks work with this report more than others. For example, I managed to open a Wells Fargo bank and business checking account, online without actually going in any branches. And I tried to do that with like Chase and Bank of America. I wasn't able to, but when I went into the branch, I got my accounts within an hour. Every bank is different, but most banks are pulling this right? They're pulling this before they give you an account. So another bank account I tried to open in the past that I couldn't was like PNC Bank. They denied me, and I pulled my report to find out I had, a paid uh, account. I had like a $500 balance that I had paid on a closed account. Um, and I didn't know that there was a balance on the account because what was happening was I had a reoccurring payment, and the reoccurring payment was hitting my account every single month. And I hadn't used that account for about a year and a half. So when I went to um, apply for a bank account, that's when I discovered ChexSystems. I looked at insufficient funds. I looked at my account and it showed that I had insufficient funds and I also had a balance of $500 because all of that $500 stemmed from every time the company was auto pulling money out of that account, it was a negative, right? So it kept hitting me with $35 fees every single month and it kept doing it for like a year and a half. So after a year and a half, I'm looking at this massive bill of minus 500 and something because for every time they pulled money out, I had $35 added on top of that because I didn't use that account, right? And I didn't have notifications. So I found out the hard way that they're reporting this type of information on people's credit. And long story short, right, I paid the balance on the account, right, closed that bank. I didn't even want to deal with them anymore. And just to find out that it was still going to affect my ability to open up a bank account because I will later want to open up a PNC account and I wasn't able to. And they told me because of information on my early warnings and ChexSystems. And that's where I learned about that. So if any of you guys have never really had banking history or banking issues, this isn't a major issue for you, right? And two, I've seen people with some issues still be able to open up bank accounts. This is for people who historically are like committing check fraud or, they're literally just not responsible with their bank, right? So it reflects all of that negative information. And they're going to reflect it as account abuse. They call it account abuse. And once your bank account is considered account abuse, it stops you from getting other bank accounts. So this is why it's important to know this stuff because, right, we're not being taught this in school. And second, they can deny you from getting credit with this, which is unbelievable. They can literally deny you from getting credit with this. And I'm going to explain to you why, right? Because they're keeping track of the inquiries that you're submitting with these actual reports, right? Early warning services. That's also another one. But these inquiries are telling the banks that this person is applying for stuff, even though they're not on your actual credit report, they're showing up on a second report, which just blows my mind, right? So I put this together, right? Business bank account, because in order for you guys to free yourselves, right, you're going to be looking to get your credit straight, get a business, LLC, get funded so we can start. We can no longer exchange time for money, right? That's the secret. You want to no longer exchange time for money because right now your time is the most valuable thing. But if you're exchanging it for money, then you can no longer actually maximize it, right? So the end goal here is to play their game, get access to the funding that they give people access to, right? 50 to 150K, 250K plus if you got established businesses. And it's quicker to get that money than it is to save it, right? It's way quicker to have a 750 credit score, right? An LLC with a business bank account with a little bit of income coming in on your personal side and get 50K. It's way quicker. You can do that in 3 to 6 months. But to try to save it, like try to, pay the bills, set some aside, and let it grow to 50K, it takes time. But to actually go this route and do it, it could take 3 to 6 months. It could take 6 to 12, which is still faster than actually trying to go the standard route of saving the money, right? And saving the money is just, again, it takes time. But how do you escape? You gotta no longer exchange your time for money. And this is just one of the roadblocks that some of us can potentially be facing. Some of us will potentially face if we've had that in the past. So today I'm going to show you how to go through this entire process. And it's not that hard and it's not that long. It's very easy, right? To actually go into the website and pull your report and be able to find out what type of items you got, right? So I posted some links here. We've got ChexSystems, right? Once you log into ChexSystem, you got two options. So first things first, you want to freeze ChexSystems, right? So you place a freeze. You can either do it over the phone or you can call them or do it online, right? You press the freeze. Usually when they request a freeze, they're going to request some documentation, okay? Now, the type of documentation they're going to need is just information to verify you. So they need either a proof of address, they're going to need your ID so that they can determine that it is you who is placing the freeze. All right. So it may be easier for you guys to request it over the phone, but they're going to always ask you for documentation, right? Now, there is a way for you guys to request a freeze through the CFPB, right? And I'm going to show you guys actually real quick. But before we do that, I am going to pull an old check system report to show you what it looks like. Is this it? Ah, there we go. Awesome. So you guys see this here. This is what that example I was telling you guys about. I had an account with Jane d'Arc, right? And it ran a balance, right? And it tells me what the balance was for, and it said it was an account abuse, right? And disputed by consumer and verified as accurate, right? So this is what I was actually going through the dispute process. Now, that's one particular reason. That's one reason. So if let's say you had multiple accounts, it would actually keep listing them, right? It will keep listing them. Now, what I really want to find is one that has, let's see here. I'm going to find one that has a list of actual accounts. So maybe if I can try to log in, maybe I'll be able to do that and get an old report because I want to physically show you guys how it works because logging in isn't the problem. It's once you get in, knowing what to do. So let me just go through this real quick. All right. Got it. I got it. I got it. I got it, guys. So I actually got it through the website. So I'm going to show you right now how it looks. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Yes.
So can you see that these are all the inquiries? It says here, this section refers to transaction involving you and our result in someone accessing our check system information, your check system information, typically in connection with the business transaction you initiated with them. The company listed this type of inquiry requested information from the consumer file on the dates specified. These inquiries may impact your consumer report. Do you read that? Are you seeing how crazy this is? These inquiries may impact your consumer report and may be included in reports to others. These inquiries remain on your file for up to 3 years. So not 7 years like the normal credit report, but 3 years, guys. Right? So it tells you here, right, what happened. So Jane d'Arc, an inquiry for Jane d'Arc was here. I'm not sure what it was for, but Wilmington Savings Fund telling us that it was a file at LexisNexis, right? That's one of the accounts that we freeze as a secondary bureau. Um, right? As you can see, guys, it's keeping track of all of the inquiries. Are you seeing this? It's literally keeping track of all your inquiries. So these inquiries are what other companies are seeing because it says viewed by others. You see that? Now, when you scroll down here, it says these are viewed only by you, right? So all these inquiries are viewed only by you, but it's all of these inquiries. Now, remember that part of these inquiries that are only viewed by us, Credit Karma is pulling soft pulls. So Credit Karma is also going to pull a soft pull. That's why it's not impacting my report because TransUnion is reporting my pull to ChexSystems. And if any of you have Credit Karma, it's very likely that that's what you also have, right? Any questions on that so far? So basically what to do, like the next question would be like, okay, so I have all this information, like what do I do? Right? I'm going to show you. You would copy this information just like this, right? Checks system dispute. And I would literally just organize the information just like this. I guess that's the information. Let's pretend that's all I need right there, right? Let's pretend this is the information we need. We got three inquiries we want to remove. So we get back to the campus, right? And in order to create an account with ChexSystem, it's really easy, guys. You just log in, create an account. It's nothing that I really need to show you because it's like opening up a new account online with anything, an app store or anything you need. But we've got the ChexSystem dispute letter here. So what does this mean, right? You can take this particular letter, which is already built for you guys right here, just like this. And as far as inquiries go, this letter serves as a formal notice regarding the following items. So you replace this information and you add it to this section. And your letter is done, guys. Your letter is done. So now I'm going to take you right to ChexSystem after our letter is done, and I'm going to show you how to submit it. And this is going to take literally 5 minutes. So we go to the CFPB, and we use the CFPB, guys, because one, you don't have to spend any money on mailing anything out, and two, it's quicker than anything else, right? And ChexSystem is also a company you'll be able to find here. Same with early warning services. Now, when we're dealing with bank accounts and stuff, right, we want to be selecting that accordingly, right? Even though it's a consumer report, right? Normally, when we dispute with our credit stuff, we pick the consumer report. We're going to checking or savings account. And then we're going to select other banking services and then just do account. Next. Now, with this particular account, right? Problem with credit report or credit score, problem with a lender or a company charging your account, right? So we're going to do problem with the credit report or score. And in this particular case, right, we're going to put this specific reason, which is improper use of the credit report, right? They're shared without consent, credit inquiries from unknown sources, right? Because you didn't get any authorization for them to report any of that information, right? Nor was it disclosed to you. Because the reason why we're able to leverage the dispute process we do with our credit reports, because most companies aren't using the proper procedures to report this information. They need your authorization to do so. You need to give them specific instructions to report information. The same way when you submit a dispute, you're claiming that you don't recognize that item and you're requesting they remove it. They should be receiving that type of communication from you for an item that should be reported. So if I have an account I want to add to my report, say it was a credit card, hey, I have a credit card, I would like to add this to report on all three bureaus. That's specifically instructing them to report on your behalf. But they don't do that. That's not how they play the game. Now, we've already selected improper use of the report. The next thing is we can say credit inquiries on your report that you do not recognize. Okay. Have you already tried to fix a problem? I always say yes, because if you hit no, they're gonna try to suggest a different alternative. Now that we're here, guys, all right, now that we're here, we're gonna go right back to our letter and we're just gonna copy it. And I'm just gonna copy the first half, just like this. Check the box. Now I'm gonna explain to you why it's the first half, right? Because the first section is actually claiming what happened. So we're telling them that you're formally disputing these items here, okay? And these are the laws to support it, right? I'm going to read it for you guys because, again, you guys are not expected to really fully understand what all this stuff means. The letters are in the university for you guys to leverage, right? You guys have copy and paste methods. You don't have to spend time and energy learning all of this stuff. You are now getting access to all the information that's going to allow you to get rid of this stuff, to take back control, because you don't need to recreate the wheel here. You're simply going through and copying and paste it, right? So in regards to the letter, the only thing we did was we added the inquiry. So if you have 100 inquiries, you copy and paste them right in this section here, right? Right in this section in between the report, and you'll mail it in. Now, the bottom section is actually requesting the method that you would like for resolution. So to facilitate through investigation, I request that ChexSystem provides authorization for me, etc., right? Certified tracking number, return receipt of the inquiries, right? We're requesting proof, proof, proof. All of this is proof. That's all we're asking, right? Now that we requested it for proof and then we explained what inquiries we have and what we want removed, right? We're going to upload your ID, right? You're going to upload an ID. You're going to upload your proof of address, okay? Social security card is not necessarily, but, more the merrier. You hit next. All right. Now, you don't want to submit this to the bank account or the bank, right? We're going directly for ChexSystem, right? We're going to look for ChexSystem. Let's do checks. Bingo. You see they're here? We'll do ChexSystem. Yes. I've tried to fix a problem with them. No. Right. And if you don't want to put your social, you can just put, if you don't want to attach your social, you can just put in your last 4 digits of your social. And then no, you don't have any other company to complain about, right? All right. So this next section, guys, right up here, right up top, is where the address goes. So you put your address right up top. The rest is optional, right? You don't need to enter any more information. All of that's optional. Then you go and review it just so you can submit it. All right. Now, here we go. That's the final product, guys. This is how it looks, right? And then on the bottom, We would check these two boxes and submit. Pretty straightforward, right, guys? And that's to remove negative items related to your bank information, right? Now, if you've gone through the first round of disputes, they take, from what I've learned, they usually take about 2 weeks to respond, like 14 days, right? Which is actually, pretty good. They don't usually take the full 30 days. So, you can dispute and do about 3 rounds in a matter of 1 month and a half. You can do about 3 rounds. So the second round letter is here. So again, the only thing you're changing is this section, right? The letter is created. You guys don't have to recreate anything. Um, you're simply going to use the format to create another dispute. Any questions so far about ChexSystem? Feel good? All right, cool. So now that we covered ChexSystem, we're gonna move on to the next one. Next one's early warning services, and this will be just as quick. I'm primarily gonna show you guys how to access early warning services, so that you can, let me see if I have, there we go. So this document, guys, is located on the website, okay? And I'm gonna show you how I got it. So your consumer report, you're gonna, how to request a report, and they're gonna bring you right to this. I just downloaded it, that's all. Right? Because you're not going to really need the website for anything after that. What you're going to need is this document. It's going to walk you through it step by step, right? So you have the right to know what's on your file. So this is your opportunity to actually request it, because they're going to give you step by steps on how to get that report, right? So you're going to need your social, you're going to need your first, last, middle name, address, birth date, phone number, etc., right? And you need a form of ID, just like you would with your credit report, right? And then the next step is actually going to be right here, right? So the next step is clicking on this link, because this is where you're going to go and start requesting your report. You're going to click this link, and then it's going to tell us what to do next. So follow the instructions on the screen to create the username and password, and upload the documents to be securely transmitted to early warnings. If you need technical assistance with the secure portal, transfer portal, please call this number. Now, when you look at this particular section, it's going to now instruct you on what's next once you're in the portal. So now that we're on the portal, it's telling us to enter this email address. Right? You're prompted for early warning email address. So you're gonna register. Remember that. You're gonna register. You're not gonna put anything here. You're gonna register. All right. So it's asking for you're the recipient. So let's see if I can see if it'll work for me. And that didn't work. See if I flipped it. Boom. So now it worked, right? So you're gonna put your email at the top, and then the ChexSystem email on the bottom. It's gonna send you an email, and once you get your email, it'll register. Okay. And that's it. And then once you're in, guys, you basically, huh?
Can you do that step again? Because I was screenshotting it.
I don't know if I can do it again. What I can do is I can maybe go back and all right. Yeah, now here is where you put your email right here, your email. So I'm gonna put your email here,
Thanks.
right? Your email here, and then you'll get this from right here. It'll be sent to your email, you'll be registered, and then from here you can request your report. All right, you request your report. It usually takes about 15 to 30 days to get your report because they send it by mail. They're not very quick. Um, but you can always do that by requesting it through the portal. And that's early warning services. Again, that's that's a real quick breakdown on how to take back control of the accounts that are going to be limiting you from getting access to credit, right? So I'm going to show you an example here of a recent, right? So if you see here, this was a denial, right? It says here that limited information on credit file. Please see Equifax Insight score for personal credit score disclosure below. We are unable to determine your ability to repay due to the requested loan amount and or balance utilization as reported on your credit. So this one could mean that someone has high usage. So like if they um, potentially have like a recent loan and they're still working on paying it, or they have some credit cards and they're using over 30% or even 15%, right? Sometimes the banks are picky. And then uh, there are inefficient, long-standing open trade accounts on your credit report. So they're looking for you to have some sort of credit card that you've had for maybe 2 to 3 years, right? Now, if they're telling you this, they're basically telling you, you know, we want to see that you're capable of managing credit. Now, here's the double-edged sword, right? It's a double-edged sword. And this is why you got to escape the matrix because they make it very hard for you to get out. It's almost impossible if you don't know what you're doing or put any effort into it. Right? This weekend I'm going to be covering that with you guys, right? I'm going to be covering how to get trusts, how to set up how to become private, how to actually escape the matrix, right? Cuz everything is paperwork. And in this particular case, they're telling you you don't have access to credit because you don't have enough history of credit. Mind you, it's your credit at the end of the day. Second, how do you build credit if you can't get credit? I mean, think
That's
about that, guys. How do you build credit and you can't even get credit? And I'll tell you what they want from you. They want to see that you're willing to put your money up front and pay for it. They want to see you get secured cards, use your money, build credit history, show them that you're a good debt payer with your own money before they can give you credit that is yours, right? So that's the craziest part about this. Right? The high number of recent credit or checking account inquiries. Do you see this, guys? This is the red flag by consumer reporting agencies. Guys, I'm trying to tell you, you can't make this up. Ain't that something? But as you know, I'm the GOAT with this credit stuff, so I'm gonna figure out a fast way to clean these reports. I'm gonna figure out how to help people eliminate this stuff without doing all of this extra work because ultimately, guys, this is just another way to hold you back. Like, it's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. And these are things I'm helping people navigate through regularly, guys, right? And this is why it's super important You stay educated in the campus. I'm giving you guys all the information that we've already experienced so that you don't have to go through it, right? Imagine, you guys end up going and fix your credit just to find out you're denied and you don't even know why. That's the worst. Most people don't know why. Imagine getting denied with a 750 and they're telling you have too many inquiries, but you don't have inquiries and you can't quite figure out how they're determining that. Can't make this up, guys. You cannot make this up. So that being said, right, for a lot of you guys who want to get funded, who are having trouble opening up bank accounts, this is the first step you got to take. And some of you may not have had a lot of history with bank accounts, may not even need to think about this, right? If you don't recall submitting a lot of applications or trying to open up specific accounts or have a history of that, you don't have to worry about it as much. But it's important for you to be aware. It's important to have this knowledge because, you just never know. And this is for your family too, guys. This is for your family. You got siblings and relatives that are literally struggling to get credit. They got good credit and they can't figure out why. You guys are carrying the knowledge. You guys are carrying the knowledge. So ultimately, it doesn't stop you from taking it to the next step. And this is why business fundamentals is important because, I mean, we're talking about the basics of opening up a business bank account or even a checking account, right? As much as I want to put this in the credit campus, I don't think this is related to credit as much. I think this has everything to do with the basics of just being able to access banks and building relationships, right? That's really what that's about. Clean all this stuff up. Go ahead, Selena.
Like I know we went over this a while ago again before, but now I'm kind of doubtful about it because I didn't have a lot of bank accounts open, but I had a Michigan First account opened and I took money out and I never paid them back, but it's off my credit. Like I got it, disputed off my credit report. So even if I got one in the past, maybe I should go ahead and do the check system then.
Absolutely. Or even just check if it's reporting. Check if it's reporting. Because I'm going to tell you right now, a loan, guys, a loan and a line of credit that you don't pay is not going to end up on that report. That ends up on your credit report. It's when you have things like you let the account close down with a $10 balance. You get what I'm saying? Like it's different from you not paying back a loan or not paying back a line of credit. What they're really reporting is inquiries and also any like account abuse, which is directly correlated to the money going in and out, check transactions, transfers, that sort of thing. That makes sense?
Even if it's closed and I didn't pay on it, it's more about like the inquiries.
Yeah. So if you want to check to see your type of inquiries, um, it's important to do because you don't know if they're reporting recent ones. Like, for example, how many of us today learned that ChexSystems reports Credit Karma soft pulls, right? ChexSystem reports Credit Karma soft pulls. And the soft pulls are basically every month when you guys request a credit report update, it pulls a soft pull to give you your credit report. So the soft pull doesn't hurt your credit. What hurts your credit is the hard pulls. So whenever you guys are checking your phone and you're getting your monthly score update, it required a soft pull. So Credit Karma reports soft pull to ChexSystems. And you would think that it reports a soft pull to another credit reporting agency or consumer reporting agency, but it doesn't. So it's important to know that stuff. It's important to understand what's going on behind the scene. And two, it doesn't hurt to be curious, guys. Like knowing this, I don't see why you guys shouldn't go and just check your report. Right? It's like going into your bank account, right? Check your balance. Like it doesn't matter if you know what's in there. Got to go in and check it, see what type of transactions happened. Was there something you don't recognize? That's all part of you really being aware. So that's what's going to help you take back control of that, because the simple fact that this specific situation happened right here, right? It definitely made sense. It definitely made sense why you should keep up with this. And now I'm going to be putting more emphasis on it. That's why I'm doing a whole video on it, because, it actually can hurt your ability to get credit. Because if you have good credit on your FICO side, your personal side, but your ChexSystems and early warnings is troubled and it has a history, then they can stop you from there, which is crazy to me. Can't believe it. I mean, how many of you guys have gone to a bank or gone to an institution and asked for a line of credit and they ask you for a check system report or early warning services report? Never. It's a behind the scenes company that they're doing this. They're doing this so that they can communicate with each other. They're doing this just so they can communicate with each other. Right. Did all that make sense? Was that helpful? Like, how many of you guys were familiar with that before we kind of broke that down?
I wasn't familiar with that or any of it at all, really.
Yeah, it's quite surprising what you can find if you actually go through the motions, because again, we
Like
read
I didn't have any idea like about the inquiries, like about like overdrafts and stuff like that, like them reporting those types of things. That's wild. Like I think of the millions and millions of people, because overdraft has been a hot button issue with banking for a while, and how they've been just giving it to the consumer, you know what I mean? And most likely it's the ones, if you had the money, you wouldn't be overdrafting, right? So they're victimizing people who obviously didn't have the coverage, you know what I mean? Like
and
that's
then
it's like shark business, that like the type of business that I never want to do with nobody. Like oh my God, predatory stuff like that. I don't have like I don't know. Like I get it, it's business, but like I don't have to respect it. Like it's not cool.
I know, man, and that being said, it's just like they're gonna leverage that to make it even worse for you to even get credit. So you can't even improve your situation
Exactly.
in any circumstance.
Yep. But
So
good thing we got this information because we could, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Do something about it.
Exactly. So on Sunday, guys, Sunday, we're going to be diving deep. I went through and I restructured the campus here and I've added some more value because I'm going to be really diving deep, just like we did today, going over every bullet to cover specifically what to do next. But we're going to start with talking about how to change your status so that when you guys change your status, you can start doing things like open up private bank accounts so they don't have to close them down. You can start discharging debts because you have now control of those lines of credit, and you can start doing things like not paying taxes because you're basically going to be submitting documents as individuals and no longer as a U.S. citizen, right? And before we end the call, I'm just going to give you guys uh, a quick overview of what I learned today, and this opened my eyes. Um, I was reading some of the laws just to find out that the term United States business means a US citizen. How crazy is that?
Hmm.
Guys, so everyone is claiming to be a US citizen, aka a business. Now, if that doesn't tell you much, this is in Cornell law, by the way. I got this from Cornell, and I searched up United States business, and this is the definition. The term United States business means a United States citizen.
So is that why, quick question, like when somebody does business under a DBA, is that why they allow you to do that? Like essentially, like, cause you like when you do a DBA, you're just like doing business as yourself.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's for as yourself. DBAs are primarily for people who just they don't want to associate their name with the business as much. So, for example, I've seen companies that, their names were United States doing business as Hawaii.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then they still have to disclose it when, in their contracts that they're doing business as. But when you Google them and look them up, their business name is Hawaii, but their actual business name is United States. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So
Yeah.
they're doing business as to not associate their name with the business and it just separates them. And if you don't want to get rid of an LLC, so like let's say you have an LLC and it has age and you don't want to open up a new one, you can always change it to a doing business as.
Mm-hmm.
And where you'll keep the age and you'll be able to actually maintain the history of that business. Because newer business are less likely to get, funded and stuff. So some people leverage the DBA so that they don't have to go through the whole process of getting a whole new one again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's crazy, right? That the United States business is one United States citizen, right? Right? Because when we're filling out our documents, guys, and we're checking off the box, what are we checking off that we are? We're a business.
Citizen. Oh, business. Yeah. Yep.
We're the business. So when we're getting taxed and the IRS coming after us because we claimed we're a business, are they
Mm.
wrong?
Nope.
That's my point. So Sunday's call, we're going to be going over status correction, what steps you're going to need to take to get there, and you really what it entails, right? Because it's not pricey, it's not going to cost much to do so. It's just paperwork, and it's going to take a lot of work from you guys to put in the effort to get it done. Because I'm going to walk you guys through what to do, um, and it's all about execution. Sound cool?
Sounds good.
Awesome. You guys have any questions for me before we wrap things up?
No, sir.
No, enjoyed all the information. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Well, I'm grateful for you guys, and I will see you guys on Sunday's call. I'm really excited to go over this stuff with you guys. But if you need anything from me, you know where to find me. I'm in the chat. Reach out to me, and you guys enjoy the rest of your week.
You as well,
You
bro.
too. Have a good night.
All right, bye.
Later.